Welcome to PlayTestLog, a tool that's designed to bring your playtest to life by giving you the insights and analytics that you crave so you can make your games as amazing as they possibly can be. I'm going to give you a quick tour of kind of how this dashboard works, and then I'm going to create a new playtest so you can see how easy that is. And then I would love to just hear from you. What is it that you think is good, bad? What would you want to see if you were building out your own dashboard to keep track of one of your games so we can make this as customizable as possible? So you can see up top just a few details. I have the game that I'm testing obviously right here, and then a few details. There's different versions potentially, the date I played it, a name if I want to name it, and then over here the number of players we're going to add in, and then you can also name the players. You can either give them the character names, or you can name whoever is the actual person playing, and then you can also choose the character that person is, especially if your game has different characters who have different abilities. That becomes important. And then you can also keep track of their score right here. Over here we have a timer, so you can start, pause, keep track of how long the games are. And then there's also this button right here is our adding a log. And you can see down here we have all these playtest logs. And a log is meant to be anytime there's something that you believe is noteworthy that you want to mark in your game, you just add a log for that moment. So that could be just adding in a note of something that was noteworthy that you want to take note of. You can add a question if someone had a question about a rule or how something works. You can add feedback if someone's giving you a good feedback, whether it's positive or negative. There might be player actions you want to update, things that are specific choices that a player made that you want to take note of because it could have a good or bad impact on the outcome of their game. Scoring updates, if someone has scored a point or not. If there's an error, if something is broken and needs to be fixed. If there's just something people like, you can keep track of that. Or if there's anything people don't like, you can keep track of that. And then finally, you can put a marker specifically for maybe marking rounds or just marking certain milestones along the way so you can see how that's progressing throughout the game. So that's basically how PlayTestLog works. And then you have all these here, and you can see, here player 4 lost a point and now has 3 points. And it's time stamping all those events so you can see how they play out. Down the road, I would love to build out maybe, sort of a graph to show how scores change over time, or even maybe how people respond emotionally over time. What are the high points and low points of the game? So there's a lot I'd like to do, but I want to hear from you to hear what you would like to see in something like this. So let me just quickly add another playtest so we can see what that looks like to start from scratch. So I'm going to hit add a playtest here. It's going to kind of clear everything out. I'm going to start by adding a game. So I'm going to click add a game here, and it's going to pop up this window, and I'm going to choose Cupbearer, the game that I'm working on here. And that's going to immediately populate with the latest version, today's date, and kind of autofill a name. It's now going to ask me over here, how many players? And the cool thing here is I can put in a min and max player count on the version of this game. And so it'll know if I've hit my min or my max, and it'll start kind of right there in the middle. So let's say 4 feels good. Let's add 4 players. So it's going to quickly populate all 4 players, and I can change their names if I'd like, but I'm going to come in here and just add in a couple. Let's add in a few players here and make sure that we have enough to get started. And there we go. You can also see these players have a starting score. It's all the same in this game, but it'll automatically pre-populate the score when you assign the character. So we're pretty much good to go here. We're ready to go. So I'm going to come over here and hit Start Playtest. And that's going to start a timer. And you can see we've already started our first Playtest 2 of, hey, the game started. And so we'll take a look here. A new game was started with 4 players, version v1.0. And so perhaps we get started and immediately we run into our first question. And so a player asks, who gets to start with the cup? And I'll go, oh my gosh, I haven't thought of it. And so I'm going to come in here and say, starting player, the players all asked who gets to start with the cup. This is an undefined rule in my game. I need to create a compelling first player condition, and we'll hit add log. And there we go. So now we have a question for starting player, and perhaps we're playing a little bit and we're a few minutes in, and all of a sudden now player 2 scores a point. And so we're going to add a point to their total, and we can see, oh, they scored a point. Here we go, right at the 1 minute 2 mark. And then maybe player 3 ended up scoring a few points and they're up to 7. And so we can see all these things tracking. Maybe there was, someone made a specific choice and we want to say, declined the cup, and we would say player 2 declined the cup. This is not a common strategy taken by new players. And there we go. So that is PlayTestLog in a nutshell. You can keep track of all that. And then eventually I want to build out all the reporting to see the insights and analytics so you can really understand and look under the hood of your game. But again, I would just love to hear, what do you think? What are some things that you would want to have here? What are the logs you want to be able to keep track of? And how do you want to be able to see that information present itself both during the playtest as well as after the playtest, and as you start to build lots of playtests, how they all come together. So hope this was interesting to you. Thank you so much. See ya.